Buckle up, cause it's Ghost Files Key West. Join us all summer long as we investigate 3 iconic locations, all leading up to a long-awaited showdown with Key West's #1 bad boy, Robert the Doll. Don't believe us? Take a peek.
That's a party boy right there. All right, let's get in there.
Hello.
It's the most beautiful ghost hunt we've ever had.
All right, let's just go through the belt here. Okay, this is the obelisk.
Aggression.
This right here is a spirit box. Oh no.
This is the Boo Subi.
Does that mean? Oh shit, no. If you show yourself, I might scream, and that's just a reaction because I'm a very jumpy guy.
It's nice.
Jesus! Fuck! Now that we're all set to party here.
Yeah, buddy.
Somebody just moved?
Hi, anyone up here?
Do you want to play with us?
Whoa!
Oh shit! You know, it's hard for me to leave when it's this active in here.
I'm becoming a Florida guy.
I'm freaked out right now. I'm a little scared. Leave.
Here in Key West, it seems like it's kind of lawless.
Ahoy there! Welcome to Mystery Files, where we take a deep dive into cases that span from the creepy to the truly bizarre and everything in between. I'm Shane, and today I shall plumb the depths of a peculiar tale, the strange disappearance of Theodosia Burr Alston, all with the help of my first mate, Ryan. In the end, you'll have to decide if the mystery is solved or if it's simply a mystery.
Is this any relation to Aaron Burr?
Yes, Ryan.
Cool. I mean, I figured because you're dressed like fucking Captain Crunch. What's going on with your boots?
Don't look at the. I don't look at
Isn't
the
the
shoes.
purpose of
Keep
the
it
black
up here? No, it's
part
fine.
of the costume
I'm wearing,
so that they blends into
this
your
is
black boots?
Era appropriate.
Sneakers, huh?
No. Ha. You know. You may notice that we're joined in the basement this week by the very talented Alicia Hale, for reasons that will become apparent later. But Alicia, thank you for joining us. Ryan, try not to look over there.
It's gonna be very
Alicia
hard.
is sort of an omnipotent
But
observer.
the noises, I could hear them. And there's a good chance that what's happening here is gonna be way more interesting than what's happening here.
It's possible. Alicia, if you hear any snores from his direction, just give him a little nudge.
We are in an attention economy, so just keep that in mind. Keep my attention.
Oh, now I have to. I got a vie for your attention over here.
That's
I better
right.
bring out the razzle dazzle.
Yeah, if I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm just gonna change the
No,
channel.
no, Ryan. All right, well, let's get into it.
Oh, holy
a baby.
shit! You've murdered a child.
When Theodosia was born on June 21st, 17. What's so funny about this, Ryan?
What do you mean, what's so funny
I'm
about
just
this?
starting a lesson.
What's so funny
I'm
about
not
this?
10 seconds.
Look at this picture and tell me what's so
It's
funny.
a sweet little baby.
That's how the baby came out, with a wig on?
It's a perfectly normal baby.
Sure.
That's an elegant painting. Alicia, any thoughts on this painting? Pretty well done, right?
She's wearing a
Yes,
robe?
it's a very accurate portrait representation.
That looks like a baby.
Looks like she should have like a cigarette watching Murder, She Wrote on a fucking
Don't put a
recliner.
cigarette in the baby's mouth. Let's move on. Can you focus, Ryan? Focus on me and the lesson. Look at this baby, look at me. Don't look at that. When Theodosia was born on June 21st, 1783, she was already well known as the daughter of Aaron Burr, a scholar, soldier, lawyer, statesman and adventurer, and American founding father. After her Ryan, look over here. After her mother passed away when Theodosia was just 10 years old, Burr dedicated himself to his daughter's schooling and refinement. He read A Vindication of the Rights of Women, a seminal proto-feminist text, and was inspired to provide his daughter the equivalent of a college education. This was extremely unusual for Burr's time, when most women only received a domestic education. Soon, Theodosia was reading Latin, speaking French, practicing piano, taking lessons in dancing, and learning to skate.
Cool.
It's pretty progressive of Aaron Burr.
Yeah. Why are these people also in the dark? Is that just the time? Is this like a style?
Well, they didn't have,
They didn't
lights.
have the sun?
Yeah, they had candles, the sun, I guess. Maybe
Just
that's
feels
unreliable.
crazy.
The sun moves,
I do know that.
Alicia, Why might they have painted all these people in the dark, do you think?
It gives a nice contrast so they can pop.
This is fun. Now, Theodosia wasn't just a bookworm. She was renowned for her charm, amiability, and moral heroism. She was designated, quote, the first gentlewoman of her time. Even the New York Times called her one of the most beautiful women in America. Now, when famed writer Washington Irving attended a party with Theodosia, he noticed that others moved to the sidelines to watch her dance.
Creepy.
It's happened to me before. People tend to get out of my way to watch me move, you know.
I saw you dance at my wedding. No one did that. And I saw you hurt your knee.
You didn't see me hurt my knee. You saw me doing the twist like this. And then my knee started hurting 2 days later, and it hurt for 3 months. Someone told me I might have torn...
Meniscus?
Yeah.
That usually happens in athletes, but you're not an athlete.
Well, I dance hard. She eventually caught the eye of Joseph Alston.
Wait, can you go back to that picture?
What?
I just realized the guy in the background with his little monocle. Ooh, that is some mighty fine dancing from that gentle woman.
Well, now I'm a little pervert.
I know. He's a little creep. I like to watch. And he's so small.
She eventually caught the eye of one Joseph Alston. Hubba hubba. From South Carolina, Alston was visiting relatives along the Hudson River in New York when he met and fell in love with Theodosia. Brilliant and intellectually curious, Joseph and Theodosia were both dedicated to self-improvement and continuing education. Although her father believed Theodosia was marrying, quote, beneath her station in life, Burr begrudgingly gave his blessing. On February 2nd, 1801, Theodosia Burr and Joseph Alston were wed in Albany, New York. The lavish wedding was a notable society event. For their honeymoon, Theodosia and Joseph went to Niagara Falls, the first celebrity couple to do so, starting a trend that continues to this day. They returned to South Carolina to build their life. Pretty cool.
Never seen the falls.
Me neither. You tried to once.
I tried to.
We were on a trip, had about, 2 hours to kill at the airport?
I thought
you were
about
like,
it.
I think I can take an Uber to Niagara Falls and make it back for the flight.
I didn't, but the rest of the crew did get to see it on one of our off days. I believe, Ben, you got to see it, right? Yeah. Never mind. Apparently, they're not even the biggest falls.
What?
They're pretty much dwarfed by the ones, I think, in Brazil.
Oh, the one that turns into mist, like from Up?
You're talking about Paradise Falls.
Paradise
That's
Falls.
a
Where's that?
fictional.
No, that's based on a real thing. It was in Planet Earth.
Yeah, but it's not called Paradise Falls. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, I think it's called like Angel Falls or something. That's based on a real thing, dipshit.
Okay, well, I mean, you said it was Paradise Falls. It's not. It's not true.
No, you said, I said like the one in Up. Similar to the one in Up, the one that the one in Up is based on.
You know there's not an old retirement home for bears, too, right? In
Shut the
Nazca,
fuck up.
Peru.
That's not what, okay. What do you think of this? Nice?
I like the rainbow.
Where'd you go on your honeymoon?
We went to Bora Bora. Where'd you go on your honeymoon?
Amsterdam.
Sick. Get to that red light district.
I'm married. Okay, barely 1 month later, Aaron Burr ran for the presidency against who?
I don't know.
Tommy Jim Jam, old Thomas Jefferson.
Hey, I know
Now-
his face.
Yeah, of course. The two tied in the Electoral College, so the election was decided by the House of Representatives. However, Aaron Burr's longtime political rival, Alexander Hamilton, weighed in on the race and tipped the scales against Burr in favor of Jefferson. Now, thanks to Hamilton's influence, Burr lost the election and became vice president under Jefferson.
Look at this. Look
He's like,
look how happy he is about it. God damn it. You were not going to be the president.
He even put his little glasses up.
Oh, boy, well, who?
In 1802, Theodosia welcomed her son, Aaron Burr Alston. Theodosia loved her father deeply, once telling him, quote, "You appear to me so superior, so elevated above all other men." Not everybody shared her opinion of her father. Following years of personal insults, Aaron Burr challenged Alexander Hamilton to a duel in 1804. Burr won, of course, killing Hamilton. The public backlash against Burr was immediate, as Hamilton was beloved in New York. What do you think of duels, Ryan? You like those?
They're scary.
Got to bring them back, or?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think
but
so?
I do like the, what am I trying to say here? I like the pageantry and the commitment to the rules of them, I suppose.
The rules of killing a man.
Well, it's more so like modern day, you see two people fight. It's not like, let's duel. Like,
Yeah.
it just happens at a bar or something. but like the fact they're like, I'm the most angry I'm ever gonna be. Let's go outside and line up 10
Well, but there's
feet away.
also the interesting dynamic of an accumulation of rage.
Yeah.
There's a commitment to, okay, we will duel.
That's right.
But then it's very formalized.
Exactly. It's
So
a
it can't
formal-
quite be broken up. I think there is value to the fact that someone could tell you, tomorrow we will shoot at each other.
It's very middle school.
If you've offended me or done something, and obviously I don't think we should bring back duels, but I think they kept people in line in a good way.
Nobody would be running their mouth, I'll tell you that.
That's right. The next year, Aaron Burr concocted a plan to annex a large part of North America. He would be the king, with Theodosia's son set to inherit his throne. Theodosia herself would be the Queen of Mexico. Now, obviously, this didn't sit well in the United States. Burr was tried for treason. Even though he was acquitted in 1807, Aaron Burr went into a self-imposed exile in Europe to escape a public that had turned against him. Theodosia would not rest until they were reunited.
Why was she going to be the Queen of Mexico?
Because she was his daughter, and he would be king. He wanted to annex part of Mexico as well.
I see.
It was when territory was still kind of in dispute. And
Well, now I don't like either of these people.
well, I don't know that she was super on board with the plan so much as he was
Okay,
like,
well-
I'll be king, and it'll be great, you'll be queen,
She looks different in every single painting.
Well, I guess it's, it's not quite like photographs where it's just more dependent on the painter, right?
Yeah.
With her father away, Theodosia's circumstances grew dire. Suffering years-long bouts of illness, she had grown physically weak. Theodosia wrote letters to anybody she believed could help bring her father home, including the First Lady. Although the responses she received did not exonerate her father, they made it clear that the government would not interfere with Burr's return. In June of 1812, Aaron Burr reached New York. But there was no celebration. Upon learning of Burr's return, Theodosia wrote to her father, quote, "A few miserable days passed, my dear father, and your late letters would have gladdened my soul. And even now I rejoice at their contents as much as it is possible for me to rejoice at anything. I have lost my boy. My child is gone forever. He expired on the 30th of June.
Expired?
That's it's a rough phrasing. I think it was maybe more common back then, but kind of cold. Her son, Aaron Burr Alston, had contracted malaria, passing away at their home in South Carolina. What was it? You had a big smile on your face as
No,
I
that
said
was like
that. Oh, okay, all right.
Ugh, it's tough. Yeah. You think this is how I smile?
I mean, it kind of looks like a smile, yeah. Looks like a sort of grade school yearbook smile when kids don't quite know how to do it. They're like,
Oh, I had some real
I had a
bad
few of
ones.
those.
I didn't learn how to smile until like high school.
In spite of her poor health, Theodosia was determined to visit her father in New York. The fastest way to get there was by sea, but the War of 1812 had broken out. Not only were British warships patrolling the Atlantic coast, but there were pirates too. As the recently elected governor of South Carolina, her husband Joseph was unable to leave during wartime. But Theodosia insisted. So Alston made arrangements to keep her safe. He chartered her aboard the Patriot, a small pilot boat with a reputation for speed and excellence. Alston sent a letter to the British Navy requesting safe passage for the ship. Accompanying her would be Aaron Burr's old friend and business associate physician, Dr. Timothy Green. Even though Theodosia was thin and feeble, they thought she could make it. The journey was only supposed to take 5 to 6 days. Despite severe weather warnings, the Patriot left Georgetown, South Carolina on December 31st, 1812. On January 2nd, 1813, it's reported that the British fleet stopped the Patriot off Cape Hatteras near North Carolina. They allowed the ship to pass after reviewing Alston's letter. As the Patriot passed into the night, a gale began to blow, scattering the ships.
That's a fucking cool photo.
I like this a lot.
Look at the, you could see that the water is almost translucent there. How good is that?
When we did rehearsals, I was like, look at that glowing water.
Wow, that is good.
Alicia, you like this
Alicia,
one?
what do you think of that?
I'm very impressed.
That's
yeah.
really good.
The glowing water, Alicia, that's got to be just artistic license, right? You don't really see that in real life.
Well, what it was is I used a mix of watercolor and...
I asked Alicia.
Oh.
It's probably a little bit of artistic license
Yeah.
and color theory, and it's very effective.
It's just the way this just sort of falls into the darkness. Wow.
That's sick. Damn, look at that water.
I thought the bird's just shining there. I'd love to hang this up somewhere. As days turned into weeks without the Patriot docking in New York, Burr and Alston began to fear the worst. They searched, but could turn up no evidence of sightings or distress calls. No wreckage was ever recovered. Theodosia Burr Alston was the First Lady of South Carolina for only 21 days before she disappeared.
There's so many ship disappearing mysteries.
Yeah, because, ocean big.
Ocean big, yeah.
Ocean big, people small.
How could this have happened?
That's why I don't like the ocean. I don't like to be out there on it.
I'm going on my first cruise.
What?
Well, case closed. The ocean got her, huh?
Well, maybe.
I'm gonna look at this painting.
No, Ryan, no.
All right.
Are you ready for the theories?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're in luck. Theory 1. Theodosia died in a shipwreck.
Yeah.
Of course. For a while, Alston and Burr held out hope, but soon grim news began to reach them. Alston wrote, quote, "Another mail and still no letter. I hear too rumors of a gale off Cape Hatteras at the beginning of the month. The state of my mind is dreadful." Cape Hatteras was nicknamed the graveyard of the Atlantic.
Ooh, I just yawned and it probably looks like I'm getting really emotional about her missing.
Oh, well, that's okay. Do that, Maybe people, that'll endear them to you.
She was so young.
Oh, well, that one feels.
Why not just don't go through the graveyard of the Atlantic?
That's a good call. I don't know if they can
Hubris
just,
of man,
I guess
perhaps.
it's the coast, so you would think just maybe go a little further out so you don't get pushed, but...
Graveyard of the Atlantic. They haven't seen me yet, and then you die. But
We are in the Pacific.
No, I'm saying graveyard of the Atlantic. Nah, I'm gonna go right through that shit.
I see what you're saying, sure, yeah. At the dangerous Outer Banks, a storm often pushed ships onto the shores of the Barrier Islands. Receiving a message from a British admiral, Burr read a full report of the gale that hit the Outer Banks as the Patriot passed. They lost hope. Burr and Alston believed that the Patriot hit the Outer Banks filled with water and sank with everyone on it, including poor Theodosia. How likely do you think that is, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, the fucking old ship in the ocean, it makes sense. Titanic sank, so,
That one sank.
If you believe that actually happened. There's some people...
Are you a Titanic truther?
I'm not, but there's one person that I know of who truly believes it did not sink, and they went to the windows or some shit like that. Maybe we'll cover it on Mystery Files. Why would you fake that?
I don't know. On to theory 2. Pirates!
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, the British Navy weren't the only ships patrolling the area at the time. Pirates also roamed the Outer Banks, these including wreckers. On dark nights, wreckers would tie a lantern around a pony's neck and lead them up and down the hills. From the water, the ponies looked like the light of a nearby vessel, so ships would sail towards the light and be grounded on a sandbar.
That's awesome.
It's pretty good.
That's fucking cool.
It's pretty good.
I like that a lot.
I love pirates. Maybe they did the classic thing where they put a little carrot in front of it on a stick.
That's good.
Or an apple. They probably ate a lot of apple. What do ponies eat?
Probably
Chime off in the comments.
apples.
The wreckers would board the trapped vessel, steal its cargo, and murder everyone aboard. Many believe that this was the fate that befell the Patriot. But without any survivors or a wreck, it was impossible to prove. Do you approve of the way that they would murder everyone, Ryan?
No.
No, of course not. You don't condone that. You hear a lot of stories of pirates, and a lot of them are sort of fun, but you forget about the murder. I don't know if they were all murderers, but it was certainly in their set of skills. It was. But in 1848, a man named Frank Burdick gave a chilling deathbed confession. He claimed to have been part of a pirate crew that murdered everybody aboard the Patriot, including Theodosia Burr. According to Burdick, when Theodosia was given the choice between death or becoming the consort to a pirate captain, the defiant Theodosia chose death. Stepping onto the plank, she walked several steps, turned towards them, raised her arms, and cried, quote, "Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay." With that, she leapt into the sea. We run into this a lot in the cases we've covered over the years, where people are like, I'm going out, maybe I'll try and take credit for killing
There's so many of them.
a beloved woman.
I am the Zodiac.
That happened a lot.
By the way, I had no idea there was a celebrity in this case.
Lafitte?
John Lafitte is the most famous pirate of all time. We
I
went
guess
to his
so.
bar.
In New Orleans. What a guy. I don't know much about him. That's what my silence indicates.
I
I mean,
see.
I've heard the name, certainly.
Yeah, he's also all over Disneyland.
Oh, boy.
And he murdered a
Now,
lady.
let's see. Now,
He murdered a lady.
So did Walt Disney.
That's not true.
Yeah. On his deathbed, Walt Disney claimed that he murdered her as well. It's another one.
I killed Theodore.
I invented Mickey Mouse and also killed Theodosia Burr Alston. Throughout the years, several other deathbed confessions arose concerning Theodosia, and almost all of them, the mates wanted no part in harming the charming damsel. Yet, none of these pirates presented any physical evidence. Suspiciously, the one indisputable fact of the night, the storm off Cape Hatteras, was never mentioned in any of their tales. So I'm not really buying their stories. If there was a big storm, and they're not like, oh, 'twas a stormy night, and I killed a lady, Start with the storm.
In your opinion, what will be worse, the shipwreck or the pirates?
I don't know. I've always thought about drowning, what it would feel like,
weird.
and I don't think it would be good.
Well, it's like the classic, what's worse, drowning or getting set on fire? Fire is
really
only painful for a little bit.
Ideally, you do both at once, and they sort of
Drowning
cancel
is
each other
painful
out.
the entire time.
Is that so?
Yeah.
I
For
don't like
just
that.
fire, but also...
I don't like to think about drowning. I would rather be set on fire. I'd rather be stabbed in the gut.
Stabbed in the gut would also be pretty bad.
You've had a paper cut before,
Don't even... Ugh.
Oh, the sensation of the paper, the texture of the roughness
Like when
that you feel so
Jackass, when they
fleetingly.
would give each other paper cuts in the webs of their fingers.
I don't like. It's like, ugh.
Your body's trying to register the air, but the water's in there.
Oh my fucking God, man. Fucking Jesus Christ. Okay, pirates. Any thoughts on that theory?
I'd rather get stabbed.
Yeah, same. That brings us to theory 3. She survived.
Doubt it.
Well, while many of the pirate confessions ended with Theodosia's death, several stories claimed that she survived for several years. On Galveston Island, off the coast of Texas, a Native American chief of the Karankawa tribe told the story of how he came upon a wrecked ship. Beside it, a woman with a locket around her neck. Maybe 3 winters before, she had set sail to visit her father, a great man forced into exile when she was attacked by pirates. The ship was burned with everyone aboard, all except for her. The woman had been kept as a slave to the pirate crew ever since. As the woman died, she gave her locket to the Karankawa chief.
I guess why that is somewhat compelling to me. This is obviously somebody that would not have the knowledge of popular culture at the time.
Right.
And why would he lie?
That's a good point. Certainly interesting.
Yeah.
Because, why would he? What stake does he have in any of this?
That's what I'm saying.
Also entirely possible life was just bogging her down. Famous father, much reviled.
Yeah.
She seemed to be in love with her husband. Maybe she just wanted to get away from it all.
Yeah, I mean, everyone hated her dad, for sure.
Others believe that Theodosia lived out the rest of her life in secret in the United States. At St. Paul's Episcopal in Alexandria, Virginia, there rests the gravestone of the female stranger. As local legend would have it, a young couple arrived in Alexandria, Virginia by ship in 1816. The woman was gravely ill, so her husband hired a local doctor to help. But there was one condition. The doctor was to ask no questions about their identities. Soon after, the woman died. Today, the marker reads, quote, "To the memory of a female stranger whose mortal sufferings terminated on the 15th day of October 1816. Were you singing Madonna's
Beautiful Stranger
from the Austin Powers 2 soundtrack?
That's right.
Very nice
That's
choice.
not the Spy Who Shagged Me, I think, right?
It is the Spy Who Shagged Me, yes. Interesting, but it also feels like a little bit of a folk tale.
This is a tombstone?
This is a tombstone in Alexandria, Virginia.
Must have taken forever to fucking etch that shit.
guy was like,
That guy was like,
we don't even know our
I'm
name,
used to
we're doing
just
all
writing
this.
R.I.P. name out of fucking short story on this shit. It's gonna take me all day.
Maybe because it was a sort of an unknown lady, they thought, well, put a lot of words on her grave to sort of give her something.
What would you have on your
What the fuck does
tombstone?
This sounds fucking crazy. This stone is placed here by her disconsolate husband, in whose arms she sighed out her latest breath, and who under God did his utmost even to soothe the cold, dead ear of death.
That's a bar. That's good stuff.
That's really nice.
What are you
Put
gonna
this
have?
all on my. Put this all on my.
Well, I was gonna say, what are you gonna have on your tombstone?
This.
No.
I'll just say, to the memory of a funny guy, and then keep all the rest.
We could, if you and I were buried next to each other, you could put on yours tall, and in mine small.
Oh, I'd have like a big, tall, skinny headstone, and you'd have just like
No,
a
that'd
little
be funny if yours was
fucking pebble.
actually a smaller one, but it said tall on it, and then mine was a big one and said small.
You don't have to get meta with it, yeah. Now, since this apocryphal story took place so soon after Theodosia's well-publicized disappearance, many couldn't help but theorize that the husband, described as a cheat and a swindler, was a pirate who had taken Theodosia as his wife. When Burr was asked about the possibility, he countered, quote, no, she is indeed dead. Were she still alive, all the prisons in the world could not keep her from her father. Now, along the lines of these theories, there's an interesting wrinkle, and that brings us to the Nags Head portrait. After decades of searching for Theodosia without success, the family discovered an intriguing piece of artwork. In 1869, Dr. William G. Poole attended to the elderly Mrs. Mann in Nags Head, North Carolina, about 50 miles from Cape Hatteras. Instead of payment, Mrs. Mann gave him a fine old portrait of a young woman. Dr. Poole pressed her for the story. Now, Mrs. Mann claimed that a pilot boat came ashore near Kitty Hawk. Her husband, along with others, boarded the ship. They found everything was in order. A meal was even set on the table, but nobody was on board. In a room that had clearly been occupied by a woman, Mrs. Mann's husband found this portrait, taking it as his share of the salvage. Now, Poole had a relative photograph the portrait to show to the Burr family, comparing the portrait to an engraving of Theodosia. There was a strong resemblance. Some believe it was a Christmas gift she was taking to Aaron Burr. Now, today it is believed by some to be the only remnant from the Patriot. But debate continues over how Mrs. Mann truly came into possession of it. Was the ship actually shipwrecked? Or was Mrs. Mann's husband a pirate? Some even question if Mrs. Mann was Theodosia herself. What do you think of that? Here's the two. This is an engraving of Theodosia. This is the Nags Head portrait. I do think there's a similarity here.
There is, but it's also a portrait.
It is a portrait. It's quite striking, though.
Yeah.
Look at the lovely ears, right?
Sure.
It's the nose, so the brows are very similar. Alicia, as a portrait artist, what do you think of the similarity between these?
I think it looks like it definitely could be the same person.
Yeah. Interesting. Her hair's a little curlier here.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe not. I don't know. It's interesting, though. It's pretty fucking interesting, man, right? Yeah. So now you must decide, Ryan. Has it been solved? Or is it truly a mystery?
I think it's a mystery, but I think it's pretty solved.
But you think it's solved?
I mean, her bones are at the bottom of the ocean, probably.
You think her bones are at the bottom of the ocean?
Ocean big. Ocean scary.
Ocean big, ocean scary. Ocean can swallow a man whole and bury you in bubbles and foam.
That's right. Davy Jones' locker, if you will.
It would be a bummer. She's just trying to go visit her dad, trying to go to the Big Apple. You want to go to New York, hang out, and then suddenly you're at the bottom of the sea. That's what you get for going through the graveyard of the Atlantic.
That is what happens.
Well, after his daughter's disappearance, Aaron Burr said he felt, quote, severed from the human race. Putting any objects associated with her out of sight, Burr would rarely mention Theodosia by name. But history refused to forget her. She became the subject of silent films and poetry, keeping her legacy alive. Renewed focus on her father brought her name to the Great White Way as the hit musical Hamilton features the song Dear Theodosia. Centuries later, New York audiences can watch Aaron Burr express his devotion to his daughter in the city she never reached. Did she live? Did she die? Maybe someday we'll learn her story, but for now, it remains a mystery. But before we go, it's time, Ryan, because throughout this episode, we've had Alicia painting an absolutely beautiful portrait of the two of us. And hopefully, I mean, with your approval, I'd love it to grace the walls of this basement.
Yeah, sure.
Are you ready to take a peek?
I'm very excited to take a peek.
All right, let's take a look, Ryan.
After you,
Thank you.
Mr. Crunch.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Should we do like a move that bus moment or?
Move those hands.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, move those hands!
That's fucking incredible. Wow.
I'm so impressed by this.
That's insane.
That's really good, Alicia.
You're really
That's
good.
incredible. Wow. You even got my little sneakers in there.
Wow. How about that? And you got my big pants. That's incredible.
The vacant eyes of Ryan Bergara.
I know.
This is really nice. We're gonna hang this.
This is great.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I painted the locket on you.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, over there. Oh yeah, look at that. It's Theodosia's locket instead of my necklace. I also did do a drawing of my own of Shane, not to say that it's gonna overshadow yours. No one would ever say that unless they do in the comments, in which case I can't control what they say, but.
That's me?
No, not
Oh,
that's
that's
something
me.
else. That's you.
So tall.
I didn't write that. I don't know who did that.
It says blah, blah, blah.
That I wrote.
That's not bad either. I think this would take top marks. Top prize.
It's
here.
close.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, those are my
You gonna
eyes.
kiss yourself?
No, I just want to get close to myself.
Gotta kiss myself. I'm so pretty.
It's really good. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Alicia, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow.
I'm gonna sit here and stare at this for just another hour or so.